As we try our best to prevent heat illness from affecting us and our workforce, it's important we have a plan and certain procedures in place. These plans not only ensure that there's available resources on the site, but also describe the crucial steps and procedures to follow in special circumstances, such as a health emergency. Hi, I'm Surgeon with Arthur and Hansen, and for today we're going to be covering written procedures for heat illness prevention. If you're an employer in California, you're required to develop and implement a heat illness prevention plan and have it readily available to all your employees at all times. If you're not in California, developing a heat illness prevention plan is still a great way of practice to help keep your employees safe while working out there in the heat. This plan includes written procedures that do everything from identifying roles and responsibilities to ensure everyone knows what part they play, to detailing the number and size of water containers that will be available at your worksite. The written plan identifies who is responsible for certain tasks, such as providing shade when requested, water replenishment, reminding workers to take breaks and drink water, weather tracking, and more. Those with responsibilities must be trained and well equipped to carry out the responsibilities assigned to them. For example, make sure that the employee responsible for providing first aid until emergency services arrive to take over is trained and certified to provide that care. The plan also describes in detail the number and size of water containers and shade structures that will be supplied at the worksite. Now, this takes some pre-planning to understand the layout of the site, the number of employees on the site, and other potential hazards to avoid when choosing an area to set up a shade structure, for example, and more. So make sure it's something that's considered before work actually starts. The frequency in which the water containers will be checked and replenished should also be explained in great detail in your company's written plan to ensure that there's enough water for the crew at all times throughout the entire shift. Also, the frequency of tracking the weather, water breaks, and reminders to take breaks throughout the shift should be noted to prevent anyone from overheating. And finally, it will specify how these procedures will be communicated to all employees and how to verify that these procedures and instructions are actually being followed. Let's go over some specific procedures for specific circumstances. We'll start with heat wave procedures. A heat wave is any day where the predicted high temperature for that day will be at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit and at least 10 degrees Fahrenheit higher than the average highly daily temperature in the preceding 5 days. This takes pre-planning and weather tracking before work has even started. So, the person responsible should be trained and have the necessary resources to track the weather and prepare accordingly. We recommend using the free OSHA NIOSH Heat Safety Tool phone app to help you determine the forecast and current heat index in your area. The link for this app will be linked in the description below. It also is a go-to reference for signs and symptoms and first aid information for heat-related illnesses. A heat wave procedure will trigger certain requirements such as observing employees to ensure that they're not showing any signs and symptoms of heat illness. Other special precautions may be needed depending on your workforce, location, etc. So we'll be more than happy to help you with that. Another part of the written plan that should be included is your company's height heat procedures. These procedures are triggered when the temperature is 95 degrees Fahrenheit or more. These procedures include requiring pre-shift meetings with all personnel to review the height heat procedures, encouraging employees to drink plenty of water, and reminding employees of their right to take a cool down rest when necessary. Effective communication between employees and supervisors must also be established and maintained so that employees at the work site can contact a supervisor when necessary. Observing employees for alertness and signs and symptoms of heat illness by assigning a supervisor or a designee for a crew of 20 workers or fewer, or through a mandatory buddy system, or regular communication with a sole employee, such as by radio or cell phone, or by other effective means of observation. Designating one or more employees on each worksite as authorized to call for emergency medical services, and reminding employees throughout the work shift to drink plenty of water. It's also important for the written plan to specify when and how new or existing employees will need to be acclimated to the heat. And finally, it's crucial that we all know what to do in an emergency situation, such as when one of our employees or coworkers is suffering from a heat illness. So make sure that emergency response procedures are part of your written plan. As mentioned before, these written plans will address those responsible for certain tasks like calling 911, providing first aid, flagging down emergency services, etc. Every workplace will have different procedures for responding to medical emergencies, but here are some of the few things you can do whenever you or one of your coworkers is suffering from heat illness. Get to shade and cool down immediately. It is important that the person who is suffering from heat illness is moved to a cool location, given water and other fluids, and be cooled down as soon as possible. Notify your supervisor and others as soon as you recognize signs and symptoms of heat illness to get help as soon as possible. Understand your workplace specific procedures, your site location, and how to give clear and precise directions to the work site if need be. We hope this video has helped you gain a better understanding of how quality written procedures can be a great resource for preventing heat illness. And this concludes our heat illness prevention series. But make sure to keep letting us know what topics you would like for us to cover in our future safety videos. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos like this. Feel free to contact us using the information provided below, if you have any questions or need assistance with your heat illness prevention program or safety program as a whole. You can also follow us on all social media platforms to stay updated with their latest safety tips and tricks. And as always, until next time, be safe and thank you.